We are live. All right, welcome to the Daily Fish Podcast. That was clips with grinding because that's what we're trying to do with this daily fantasy lineups is just grind. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the Thursday and Saturday slates going on. And with me today, we have Dustin Hogue at Dookie Hogue is his Twitter handle. I'm Charles Sears, and let's jump right into it. How you doing today, Dustin?
I'm good, Charles. How are you, buddy?
I'm chilling. Can't really complain. I had a day off, so did a lot of nothing.
Nice.
All right. So let's jump into the Thursday night game. That's going to happen in about a couple hours. We got the Los Angeles Rams at Seattle Seahawks. The line keeps moving, and the lines at Seahawks are a 15.5 point favorite. Jesus. And the over-under is at 39.
Yeah.
What do you think about this game?
Um, Seahawks D. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like the Rams played the Seahawks tough a lot of times. They're in Seattle. They got the rookie quarterback who just looked terrible last week. I like the Seattle defense, and then really like Rawls against that front seven against LA. What do you think, man?
I definitely like Seattle's defense 100% between all the defenses that are playing this week. The only thing that I'm having issues is when I make a lineup, I can only have 4 Seattle people. Like, that means you got to throw
That's
in like
funny.
Seattle, Miami, and then even then, like you have to put in the Jets or what's the other team? Um, Rams player, and it's just like you don't know where to best put those in. Because
Right.
like I like Rolls, I like Jimmy Graham. He seems to be like the only consistent thing in all these matchups
Yeah.
besides Seattle's defense. But then like with tight end and defense locked up, you only have two more Seattle players you can put on this entire roster. So I think you can almost pass on the Seattle's defense, especially if you're playing like GPPs.
Right.
Um,
They'll be very highly owned.
yeah, like 70% probably at least. Um, I like Rolls. The wide receivers, you can play around with them, but like Lockett's a good one. Curse is probably going to be another underplayed one.
Yeah.
Baldwin's definitely the chalk. I
Yep.
mean, I really don't think you can go wrong playing any of the All Stars on Seattle side of the team. It's just the trick is if you're
Later.
locking in Jimmy Graham as tight end, what other three are you going to play that are strong in the other matchups?
What,
Um,
tight end?
well, no, I'm saying like if you have Jimmy Graham as tight end, that only gives you 3 more Seattle Seahawks in your entire lineup. So you're
I
not
don't. I,
running Hushka.
I don't think you have to have Russell Wilson in there.
That's fair.
You could put Moore or Petty. I feel like um,
I definitely like
Matt
Moore
Moore.
a lot better, but
Yeah, me too. If you're doing Thursday, Saturday like this, I mean, you got to run him out there. Um, Petty might be all right too, man. Put him and your boy Anderson.
yeah. Um, well, we'll go ahead and talk about because it's a small slate. We'll go ahead and bring up the other game so we know what we're talking about when we talk about players. The other game is Miami at New York Jets. Miami's down to a 2 point favorite now, and the over under is at 37.5. So they're looking at like a very like blog game, I take it. Like both teams aren't really doing much. We've got backup quarterbacks starting. What do you think about this game? Like, do you think it's just going to be a Miami sided ball, or do you think it's going to be like an even like defensive battle, or just a low scoring battle?
I think Miami's gonna take control of this game. It's kind of a hard one to read. It is in London too, I think. Um, well, Miami side of the ball, I'd play Moore, Parker, Landry, Stills, and is like a super deep GPP play on PFF. Uh, Landry out of the slot, and you got Parker on the outside. They've got favorable matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think you could run Jay Ajayi. I would even consider either of these defenses, given which quarterbacks are in play. What do you think about that as like a
Um,
contrarian defense?
oh, I definitely love it because it gives me a little more lenience to put like Rolls, Baldwin, and Lockett on my
Yeah,
with Jimmy Graham on my as my roster, and then I'm just jamming either Seattle or Miami's defense.
yeah, I like that. Yeah. What about
Um, on the Jet
Oh,
side of the
anything?
ball,
Yeah.
I like Powell as a running back. Miami's
Hmm.
not really a great defense against the run, and then pretty good against the throw. So I mean, like I definitely like Powell in this matchup, especially with Forte being injured. I got a couple of him splashed in here. Um, I got Anderson in like a random GPP lineup because that seems to be Petty's target. But those are like the only two people that I like on the Jet side of the ball, especially with Marshall being on the snap count. That was just released earlier today.
Right.
For quarterback,
That's smart.
I do like more, but I mean, I like Russell Wilson's consistency. Another way of thinking about it, um, even though the Rams do play the Seahawks 100% like better in Seattle for like the last like 3 4 years, their head coach has also been there every single time with
Right.
Jeff Fisher. Now that he's not there anymore, like I sort of don't even want to take like a Todd Gurley or Tavon Austin on any of my lineups, or even Kenny Brett. Um, I mean, those three players seem to be like if you go to roster any St. Louis players, it would be like Gurley, Brett, or Austin. Like Austin's been looking good the last couple weeks with golfing. Kenny Britt's Kenny Britt, so I mean he's solid, putting up solid numbers across the board last 3 weeks.
Hmm.
Um, Nothing really too exciting. I see. It's just really hard because like the one team you want to stack, like you put as defense and tight end, like you only have two more Seahawks you can put on your entire roster. So I like Miami's defense as play. That's probably going to be the second most played defense.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm just kind of fiddling around here on a tournament lineup, and Matt Moore, Ajayi, and Landry sounds like a kind of interesting setup here. Like, I think the Jets have just mailed it in, dude. They're going to London. They're gonna go eat fish and chips. They don't give a shit. They're just gonna be out there on the field. Like, I could see Miami just owning this game. And you said Marshall's on a snap count. That makes me not want any of them, honestly.
Like not even like Powell as like a backup,
Oh, I like
or
Powell for sure, especially if Matt Forte's out. Um, he practiced today, but I mean he's a little older. He's got something with his meniscus. Like, yeah, I think Powell's in play. Um, on a 2-game slate, this is the kind of stuff you're going to look at.
hmm the big thing is Miami side of the ball is very interesting. I do have Matt Moore in here a couple times, and it seems like it's like either Russell Wilson and Miami's defense in the lineup, or Matt Moore and Seattle's defense in the lineup. Like those are like the two consistent things in my lineup, besides Jimmy Graham, of course. Um, what about Safari and Jenkins? You think that might be a thing? Like he's getting more
Um,
targets over the last couple games.
nah, I no, I would just play Jimmy Graham and maybe this Jones guy for the Dolphins if he scores a touchdown. I thought Deion Sims was their tight end. I guess not.
Uh, no, I'm thinking of Charles Sims of KC. I thought Sims might have been on what's his name's team, Tampa Bay.
No, actually, Deion Sims is a tight end for Miami, and against the Jets, who got roasted against Indianapolis through 3 touchdown passes to Dwayne Allen. I think Deion Sims is a nice little tournament play. He's minimum priced, but pricing on a 2-game slate. doesn't matter at all. Um, I don't know. We've never really talked about this, but I feel like leaving money on the table is an interesting strategy because a lot of like novice players will use all their salary on a 2-game slate. It's okay to leave a couple grand out there.
Well, I mean, even if I like stack my team with nothing but like like studs, like is here. One, two, three, four. Lushka, I'm gonna put in my this defense. Um, I'm just looking at some of the lineups, and I mean, even if I stack them all with the most expensive guys, you still have like a good 5,000 left over
Mm-hmm.
most of these lineups. So I mean, I don't think leaving money on the table is necessarily a good thing. I think what novice players are going to do is just like stack like, oh, okay, this is time to play all the top guys, the most expensive guys. I can load up my roster. And essentially that's not going to happen where you're going to end up winning because, I mean, if you look at this, some of the top guys for wide receiver, like Baldwin, Marshall, Parker. I mean, Baldwin and Parker are fine, but I mean, like Marshall being, who's the next guy in line? Kenny Brett.
Right.
Like, you're not feeling comfortable with that. Um, it's just a very weird where like Russell Wilson being 7,600 and the by far the most expensive player on here, besides Ajayi, like
Mm-hmm.
you can definitely like you're going to have at least a lot of money on the table. Like I have 7,100 left over on this lineup, so like I can put like almost another like Jimmy Graham up here. But man, it's almost wish that like FanDuel had like a flex spot.
Yeah, I wish. Well, when they do the merger, hopefully they let you do more than 4 players on a team like DraftKings does.
hmm Well, since this is a small slate, it's pretty like I think it's pretty cut and dry. Let's talk about that. Do you think it's going to be? Are you familiar with like online poker at all?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay, so pretty much when the U.S. had their troubles, and it was like a giant Ponzi scam. Um, both the giant poker sites, Full Tilt Poker and PokerStars, went to Europe,
Right.
and eventually they're both owned by the same company now. Like a third party company bought one of them, and then when both of them are running, they eventually absorb the other one, but they have the two sites separate still because they're both very strong names. They both have their things like their brand essentially.
Right.
Do you think they're going to merge them, or do you think they're just going to keep everything different as well? It'll just be owned by the same people.
I'd prefer it to be separate. I like playing on FanDuel better.
hmm
What about you?
Um, I wish I sort of like FanDuel a lot better when it comes to like the interface, everything like that. Like it's more appeasing to me when I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Um, but I do like the options of like what DraftKings offers me. And they do like esports, like League of Legends, and that's going to open the way for more like esports or other things like that. Like FanDuel's doing soccer now. Like I like how like we're sort of going in that direction where like I don't know, it's very weird. I like the openness that you have with like DraftKings college football. You can even do on FanDuel, but then like I mean, I'm sorry, on DraftKings you can do college football. So I mean, it's kind of interesting. I'm not sure exactly what way they go, but I wouldn't be surprised if both sites are still up and running and they don't do a giant merger. Because in the grand scheme of things, a giant merger would just be like way too much work for two brands that already have a solid brand name like locked into the fantasy world and have a
Right.
huge following. Um, all right. Is there anything else you want to touch on? Let's see.
Not really on this slate.
Yeah, like
There's not really much going on. I mean, we can come back and hit everything up once we get the ownership percentages tonight. I think we can start getting some good idea about who we want to target in tournaments. Um,
yeah, it definitely helps seeing the percentage wise and stuff like that. Even though Robert Griffin was at like what 22% last week, which
oh,
is
I
kind of
played
crazy.
him at nowhere after I saw that.
Yeah,
That
I
was such a stupid play.
He could have been at 0% and I still wouldn't play him. All right. So that's going to do it for
Yeah.
the Thursday Saturday slate. We're sitting here grinding, and we're going to be available on Stitcher and iTunes now. So definitely come check us out. I would appreciate it. Give us reviews, comments, likes, ratings. We would appreciate it all on YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, everything that we're going to be available on, even SoundCloud. So that will do it for us. I'm Charles. This is Dustin,
See ya.
and good luck, guys.